Now we're going to get into one of my favorite topics, which is portfolios. Portfolios are definitely an unconventional way of going about getting a job, but I've seen it work over and over and over again. I've had many students use this process and it works fantastically, so I highly recommend it. Portfolios are so effective, they're actually used in a lot of other majors. So for example, in the arts or in English or in education, if you graduate with one of those degrees, they teach you how to put a portfolio together, and it's kind of standard. Everybody uses portfolios to show their new employer who they are and show their skill set. For some reason, that hasn't happened in the STEM community as much. In engineering in particular, I know that portfolios are a very rare thing. So if you do this, it will absolutely set you apart from all of the competition. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. The portfolio is built on the idea that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now that's a phrase that we've all heard a bunch of times, but think about it for just a minute. The human brain is made, for some reason, our brain is made to process images very rapidly. We can look at an image and understand exactly what's going on and get a whole story very quickly. Our brain is actually not made to process text very well. Now computers are just the opposite. Computers process text to get information out of them. They're very good at getting information out of text, searching text and organizing text. And they're not very good at images, actually. It's taken years for Google and Facebook and some of these tech companies to come up with software that can do face recognition. Face recognition is something that we as humans have been able to do for a really long time. So for some reason, our brains are just wired in a way that process images very rapidly. And it takes us a lot of effort actually to process text. So the fact that we're still using resumes as a way to transfer information to a future employer, that's a little bit archaic. It seems that our modern society would have moved past that at this point and understand that that's one of actually the worst ways to convey information is through text. So the idea of a portfolio is that we're going to convey a lot of information through images to a future employer rather than making them sift through the text. So as an example, I'm going to put up a sample resume on the screen here. This is one that I just found online for an engineer, just a sample, and I'm going to put it up there for 15 seconds. And I'm just going to be quiet and let you look through it. And then after that, I'm going to put up some images for 15 seconds. And then we'll discuss the differences. Okay, so here we go. Here's the resume. And here are the images. Okay, so you've had 15 seconds on each of these now. Which of these engineers did you learn more about? Did you learn more about the person who wrote this resume? Did you notice that they've worked with carbon fiber composites? Did you notice that they worked in a team of 10 plus engineers? Did you notice that they know MATLAB? So this resume actually has quite a bit of information in it. Were you able to pull out all of that information out in 15 seconds? Probably not. Now, resumes are flying across hiring managers' desks daily, and so they don't have a lot of time to digest a resume. They're likely going to spend between 15 and 30 seconds looking at a resume before they decide whether or not this is somebody that they want to bring in or not. So you have a very limited amount of time to get some information across. Text is about the worst way to convey information. Now, obviously, you probably notice a lot of things about this engineer. You might notice that they've worked in a clean environment before. They did an internship at JPL. You might have noticed that they understand how to code. You might have noticed that they know electronics, that they can actually work with hardware and electronics and connect different pieces. So we learned a whole lot about this engineer very quickly. with very little effort because our human brain is built to understand images. So that's the bottom line. A portfolio is built around images, and we're going to use images now to portray our skill set to a future employer. So here's just a couple screenshots. We're going to go through my portfolio in a little bit more detail here in a minute, but this is just kind of an overview of what a portfolio might look like. It's basically a collection of images or pages that each have a specific topic. Each page might cover a specific project that you've worked on. Now, obviously images take up a lot of room, and so rather than condensing this down onto a single sheet of paper like a resume, we're going to put this into a booklet type form that somebody could easily flip through. So let's talk about that next.